Well, good morning, everybody. This is our last morning together for a little while. We'll be wrapping up this class on the seed principle of the seed. And so get a little bit of stuff here we want to cover before we finish it up. As you know, most of this stuff is just sparked from memories that I had of spending summers on the farm with my grandpa. I once asked Grandpa why it took so many steps to raise wheat. As a wise 10-year-old, it seemed a little repetitive to me. As soon as the combining was complete, the tractors filled the fields. They would disc under the straw. They would come back and plow the field, turning it into what appeared to me as rows of very large clods of clay. It would set like that the rest of the summer. About the beginning of football season, they would go back over it again with a spring tooth to break up the soil for planting. Finally, they would plant the hard red winter wheat early in the fall, and the cycle would begin again as soon as school let out in the spring with the combines. I've worked to help Grandpa see that all you really need to do is to get the seed in the ground. I was about to learn more about wheat farming than I had ever thought possible. Grandpa's dad was a wheat farmer, and his daddy before him was a wheat farmer. He married a wheat farmer's daughter. About to hear what I would not understand for years to come. Grandpa said that the Oklahoma red clay was rich and fertile. To keep it that way, you had to cut up the straw and put it back into the soil. Grandpa said that we didn't get a lot of rain in Oklahoma, so what rain fell, we had to keep in the ground. The clay would hold a lot of moisture for a long time, but you had to plow the ground to keep the water from coming to the top and evaporating. It was something about breaking. Then before planting, you had to get the seed bed ready in order to let the spring tooth. Grandpa concluded by saying, plow deep, plant deep. Plowing deep conserves water, and planting deep builds strong roots to gather the water and hold firm in the strong Oklahoma winds. It was a long time before I heard Grandpa's words, and I later learned their meaning. We often turn to Deuteronomy 6 to teach parents the importance of teaching their children. Classroom teachers will never hesitate to point out that it is ultimately the parents' responsibility to teachers plead with parents to teach their children. And this is all true and correct, but it is not complete. Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting in verse 1, reading through verse 2, says, "Now this is the commandment, the statutes and the rules that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you, that you may do them in the land to which you are going over to possess it, that you may fear the Lord your God, you and his commandments, which I command you, all the days of your life, and that your days may be long." The phrase Moses uses is your children and your children's children. That would be grandchildren, grandparents. The roots must go deep. This must identifies himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is 3 generations, children and grandchildren, parents and grandparents. You know, the roots are deep when they span generations. The winds will come and the sun will scorch. Plants with no roots will wither and die. The storms of life will come. You won't get to go. He practically